Thank you for joining me today. I'm Sheri from Sunflowers and Petals, and in this video, we'll be discussing sun protection for endurance athletes. If you like this video and want to know when I release more, just hit the subscribe button at the bottom. Joining me today is Stacey Kiefer from Team Zealios. Welcome, Stacey.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be
Viewers, about yourself.
So I am the director of sales at Zealios. I've been with the company 4 years. We are based in Bend, Oregon, and we specialize in body care products, especially sunscreen for endurance athletes.
Great. And the name Kiefer sounds familiar, so you're a swimmer too, right?
I have a long family history in competitive swimming and water safety and rescue. My deceased grandfather-in-law was an Olympic gold medalist in the 1936 Olympics. That's Adolf Kiefer. And I am a competitive swimmer, and so are my kids. So we're just keeping it going.
And you've done triathlons too?
Yes, I did 18 years of competitive triathlons, mostly in the Midwest. And then when I moved to Bend, Oregon, I switched back into swim mode, and now I do more open water swimming, and I'm just starting to get into really cold water swimming. So maybe there will be an ice mile in my future.
I'll be interested to watch and to hear about that some more. So let's talk about sunscreen, and let's start out with some stats around skin cancer. I know I've encountered that with myself. In fact, I just had a biopsy on my leg. Thank God it was precancerous. But what have you studied and know about skin cancer?
So the best thing you can do is go in for your yearly checks with your dermatologist and get checked head to toe. There is no reason to feel uncomfortable. Everyone should do it. It's very important. 90% of our skin aging is caused by the sun. So the good thing about that is that we have the power to control that by what we wear on our bodies, whether it's sunscreen or protective clothing or just staying out of the sun. And actually, it is actually very scary to know that 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer at some point in their life. And that, it could be small and taken off and you don't have to deal with it, to fatal, unfortunately. And skin cancer is the most common type of cancer in the US. So it just goes to show we are out in the sun a lot, and most people are probably not protecting themselves as well as they could. So important to wear sunscreen, at least an SPF of 15 every single day. And if you do that, you can actually decrease your skin cancer damage by up to 24%. So
Wow.
we truly have the power to control it.
So you said you should wear sunscreen every day. So is that year round and on cloudy days? Because I'm in Chicago and it's overcast all winter long.
Yep. And so that was something I had to learn. I grew up in the Midwest and just moved to the West Coast 5 years ago. And I didn't wear sunscreen every day because it was gray all the time. And with working for Zealios, I've learned so much that you should put sunscreen on as basically as your lotion in the morning. And even if you think you're not going to go outside, there's a good chance you're going to go get your mail or you're going to take your dog for a walk. And you need to have that protection on your skin, because you might go to the grocery store, but you will get exposed to the sun while you're outside. You can even get exposed through your windows. So you need to have at least SPF 15 broad spectrum sunscreen on all the time, every single day.
So you just mentioned broad spectrum. Can you explain that a little bit more?
And so broad spectrum involves the UVA rays and the UVB rays. So the UVA rays are the ones that go really deep into your skin, and they make you wrinkly and make you look old. And then the UVB only make up 5% of the rays, but they're the ones that hit the top layer of your skin and will actually make you look burned. So you need the protection of both UVA and UVB, and that's what broad spectrum is when you see it on a bottle of sunscreen. So it will always say it if it has the approval from the FDA of being broad spectrum. So
Okay.
if you're looking at sunscreens and it doesn't say broad spectrum, you should not purchase it.
Okay. And it will be on the label.
It will be on the label. Yes, the FDA actually, that's part of their approval is what your SPF is, the broad spectrum, and then also how long your water resistance rating is.
Okay.
So yeah, those are all FDA approvals, and there are really, really intensive tests that sunscreen formulas have to go through in order to get those approvals.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
So do you wear a different sunscreen on your face versus your body? Because I know I've seen sunscreens that say for your face.
Yeah, so some people have very, very sensitive skin and they prefer a sunscreen that might be more cosmetic or has a tint in it. And that's okay if that's what you like for your face. But if you do find a non-greasy, unscented, not oily sunscreen, you can use it from head to toe. Like the Zealios sun barrier is a very soft feeling sunscreen. It actually feels like a light face lotion. So we recommend that people put it on head to toe. You can even put it on your eyelids because it's not going to sting your eyes. So that's why we actually have a lot of customers who have infants and they're able to use the Zealios sunscreen on their babies because it doesn't sting their eyes.
Yeah, I've been using the sun barrier for about a year now. And prior to using it, I would only lather up from the eye line down because when you're out on the bike, you're sweating and you get sunscreen in your eyes and it burns. So why doesn't your product burn your eyes?
So we have taken just the right ingredients, and when we do very intensive testing with ourselves and with a lot of professional athletes and just age group athletes, and we say put it on day after day, go out and run, sweat, swim, whatever it is you do, put a bike helmet on, and we let them tell us how things feel. You know, does it feel pasty? Does it sting your eyes? And so that's what we did to come up with our original formula. And we just were able to find the right things together that not only block the sun, don't have a scent, don't feel greasy, and don't sting your eyes. And don't turn white. So the big thing actually is that ours is zinc based. And so we have 8% zinc oxide in our sunscreen and it dries clear. So you're not going to look like a ghost, which is very unusual for a zinc formula. A lot of times they're very pasty.
Or you look like the lifeguard out on the stand. White
Right? No.
Yeah, very good. So also, I think it's very interesting that not wearing sunscreen from the eye level up, I've had 3 instances of basal cell above the eye line. So now it's nice that I can slather up and not worry about burning my eyes. So.
Yes, and we have a lot of customers who either shave their head, men usually, who either shave their head or don't have any hair. And I tell them when we're out at events, just put it all over, like load it up because you're going to be okay. You are still going to sweat. It will not clog your pores. It's just not going to burn when it gets down to your eyes.
Right. And I've experienced, yeah, it's been great. So what about reapplying?
Yeah, so our sunscreen is water resistant for 80 minutes. So what that means is that the FDA is telling you you should reapply every 80 minutes. Now, we agree. If you're just going to be out training and you have access to your sunscreen, reapply because it never hurts. You cannot put too much on. But if you are racing, because our sunscreen has zinc in it, it will stay on. It will, over time, the amount that it's blocking the UVA and UVB rays will reduce a little bit, but you'll be okay if you're doing a half Ironman or an Ironman. and you don't have the ability to reapply. So yes, you might get tan, but you're not going to get super burnt. And I will say, everybody's skin type is a little different. And if you're a ginger or have, very freckled or very, very white skin, I would say reapply sometime during the race anyways. But if you're someone who has a base tan, you will be just fine.
Okay. And what ingredients should I look for when buying a sunscreen? And
Zinc.
stay away from?
Zinc is your hero all the way. Whether it's Zealios or some other brand, zinc is the one that you definitely want to look for because it is the strongest ingredient that blocks the hardest. There are some other ingredients that I don't want to say cheaper sunscreens, but like your grocery store sunscreen, that it might really tout that it has like titanium dioxide in it. And sure, that will block, but it doesn't have the strength that zinc has in it. And actually, titanium dioxide is what makes paint white. And that'll make like a pool cloudy if you have that sunscreen on and then you go swimming. Sometimes pools look murky. It's a lot of times from the sunscreen that people are wearing.
So it's not the kids peeing in the pool, huh?
Hopefully not.
So let's talk about what endurance athletes can wear besides sunscreen to protect them from the sun. So I have a couple of items here. I mean, one of the things is sunglasses are a must. Doesn't matter if it's sunny out or not, you should have something protecting your eyes. And it not only protects you from debris, but it also protects your eyes from sun damage, and you can get early cataracts if you're out in the sun without protection. You can also wear a helmet with a visor. I have two samples here. This is a mountain bike helmet with a visor. And then I have a road helmet, which also has a visor, which will help keep some of the sun off of you. And then also you can wear a little cycling cap with a visor. And if you're a triathlete and you go, from transition 1 onto the bike, put the hat on, transition 2 to the run, keep this on, just take your helmet off. And if you're in a hurry, you forget sometimes to take your helmet off. For your arms and your legs, there's what's called sun sleeves. So it looks just like an arm warmer that you put on. It's very lightweight, and you can actually put these in water before you put them on. As the water evaporates, it's a cooling effect for you. You can also look for clothing, running and cycling clothing that is SPF rated. For swimmers, there's long sleeve swim shirts. You see a lot of surfers that wear it. Helps with chafing too. Stacey, you got any other suggestions?
Yeah, so you mentioned sunglasses, and I love that a lot of the companies right now are coming out with these massive sunglasses. Like, that is actually really helpful because any additional layer you have on is going to help protect from the sun. So that's a really great thing. And they just look cool too, right? Or not. And so another thing that I've noticed is that, and they're hard to come by, but the old style competitive racing suits used to be more of a full body suit. And I'm now seeing people at our local pool who have gotten their hands on some of those older style suits. And some actually used to cover your arms, your leg, down to your ankles,
Yep.
down to your wrists with a zipper in the back. If you can get your hands on those things, they're great because they're still tight fitting, so you're not carrying a bunch of extra drag, but you have that extra coverage on your body. But no matter what, you still want to make sure that you have sunscreen on underneath. In fact, one of the big issues right now is that, especially in triathlon, and I'm guessing in cycling too, the kits are getting thinner and thinner because they're using this speed fabric that, is vented and keeps you cool. Well, the sun, we've seen pictures of people who have sunscreen on their arms, but they didn't have it under their kit, and they were actually burned under their kit, but then their arms were not even tan because they had sunscreen on their arms, but not underneath where the fabric was covering.
Yeah,
So,
and you're seeing a lot of clothing now have an SPF rating, which is good.
yes, absolutely. And so, you know, one of the things we tell people, this is our inside pro tip. We tell people the night before a race, put your sunscreen on head to toe. So you're going to take your shower, get nice and relaxed, get dry. You shouldn't be in like a humid room or outside in Florida. You want to be in a nice, cool, dry room. Put your sunscreen on, take your time, do a really, really good job. It's not going to bug you while you sleep or stain your sheets because there's no grease or oil in it. The next morning, when you wake up, you probably won't shower, or if you have to, just do a really light, not soapy shower and put it all on again. And so there are two reasons for that. One, you want that double protection. So just, you know, it does, as I said earlier, you can't have too much sunscreen on. And two, when you're nervous in the morning, you just do a bad job putting on your sunscreen. I mean, we've all seen those people who have like the hand marks on their shoulder.
I got it.
Prevent that. Yes. And another place where people get it is when their jersey or their kit rides up on their back, they get that line right above their butt. So you won't have any of those problems if you do your sunscreen at night and then do it again in the morning, even if you do a bad job in the morning. So
what if someone doesn't follow your tips and gets a sunburn? Any recommendations for that?
Yes. Number one, get out of the sun. You need to give your body a rest and be out of the sun for at least 2 days. Number two, wear a lot of lotion. Your body has pulled all that water in and is doing everything it can to rehydrate. So you can help it out by just a general lotion. Does not need to be set. In fact, probably best not to be scented, just to use something very basic. Zealios has a body lotion that's really great. It's very hydrating. And the third thing is drink a lot of water. So your body needs that to repair your damaged skin. I mean, you truly have hurt yourself. Mm-hmm. And so the best thing you can do is get lots of water in your system to help regrow that skin and heal it.
Good tips.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to purchase Sun Barrier or any of the other Zealios products, where can they find them?
We have our own website, www.teamzealios.com. And then you can find our products in some retail stores. We are in a lot of bike shops, some swim shops, triathlon shops, some dermatology offices, and then we're also on Amazon.
Great. So I want to thank you for watching and another episode of Sunflowers and Petals. And if you enjoyed this video, please click like button and also subscribe. And I'd like to thank Stacey for her time, and have a great day and enjoy the ride.